Morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of Transylvania County. If you're visiting with us, you need more sound, I do have it on. Maybe I'll just keep talking. There we go. Welcome. If you didn't hear it the first time, I'll say it again. Welcome. Whether you're here for the first time, for the 15th time, whatever number of times you've been able to be with us, we're glad you're here. We have a service which I'm really looking forward to today. The chance to recognize the transition into adulthood for Olivia Tyner right here in the front row. And maybe a little bit of time for a sermon. We'll see if that fits. But we're glad for this day. I'll start with the announcements. There's a concert coming up next Saturday evening at UTC, and we hope that those of you who are enjoying our June concert series, who knew that we'd squeeze them all in June, but we're doing that. We have the concert coming up, and we wanted to remind you to look on the schedule and get all the information you need. I'm asking people to give me their dad jokes. Anytime this week, send me dad jokes, and I'll pick out the worst of them to include on Father's Day. If you remember last year, I went to the AAUW book sale and bought a whole bunch of joke books, and I read from them on Father's Day. So you already heard those, so I want new ones. Give me new material. Let's see. Flower communion is going to be in 2 weeks. For those of you who don't know, the flower ceremony is when everybody brings a flower and goes home with a different one. It's the 100th anniversary. June 1923 was when the first one was instituted. And so Kevin is going to lead the congregation in a whole ceremony and a little extra because it's the 100th anniversary. So I hope you'll enjoy it. I will be at the Unitarian Universalist Association General Assembly, so I will not be here for the 100th anniversary, but maybe I'll leave behind a flower for someone to take. Let's see. Oh, and I was reminded of this just before I stood up here. We have Soup Sunday today, the second Sunday of each month. We would love for you, if you're a visitor, to come and enjoy a bowl of soup, or maybe two, with us. We want to make that explicit, that everyone is welcome in sharing our soup together. We hope that you'll all be with us. Those are the key announcements I wanted to make this morning. I will be now turning to lighting candles. If we could, Vanessa, could you help me with that? That's great. I see that we have a couple that are here. And we can light them. This is from Emery, a joy for Nana being here today. And then we have a candle for Griffin Tyner, who won 3 medals in his first Special Olympics event. And I'd like to have a candle for Tim McGann, who's back in the hospital. And a candle for Jim Sanders, who passed away on Friday, and for Gloria and the family. The service will be next Saturday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon here at UUTC. And then another candle for Dave Roberts, just to remember him. All this week, the men's groups, Tuesday and Thursday men's groups, remembered Dave, spent their topic on that. And just to remind folks that Dave's service is on Sunday afternoon, next Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock to meet with the family and give greetings, and then 3 o'clock for the service itself. I would like to light a candle for the high school graduates in Transylvania County. As the superintendent noted on Thursday night, Friday night, as I was listening to the ceremony, that this is the group of high school students who had quite an interesting academic career through COVID, and had just a little bit of normal this year with things, activities and things being able to be back. And I also like to light a candle for the volunteers who staffed the UUTC booth at the Hendersonville Pride event yesterday. Thank you so much for stepping up and being a presence there. Are there other joys or sorrows among the congregation? So we have lots of hands. We'll start with Victoria. Victoria's lighting a candle for Midge Hoover, who is back after her travels and time with her daughter for this past year. And then was it Alice? Alice, go ahead.
I was at graduation, so I was looking to graduate. And also, I worked with special ed kids for my career, and every now and again, one of them walks the stage for graduation, and it's really very heartwarming. A young man with Down syndrome walked the stage on Friday and got a great ovation and navigated the whole thing perfectly, and was just the silence with pride for graduating. Wonderful thing I've noticed since 3 years old. Really wonderful job.
So Alice is lighting the candle for having been at the Brevard High School graduation and watching as a student with Down syndrome who she had known since age 3 crossed the stage, navigated the process, so proud to have done so, and received a strong ovation having accomplished that. Other joys and sorrows. Jean.
Our daughter Nicole was, her car was hit and she is in the hospital with a broken back. Amen.
I'll repeat it for you. Jean is lighting a candle for her daughter Nicole, who's in the hospital after an accident with a broken back. So sorry, Jean. There may be some things that, oh yeah,
A candle song for the loss of Ed Barrett, whose memorial service was yesterday.
of course. For Ed Barrett, candle. His memorial service was at Good Shepherd Lutheran yesterday. Yeah.
I'd like a happy candle for Pamela. Today's her birthday. 80-something. I don't think you have enough candles.
So a candle for Pamela, and I won't say to the people at home which birthday it was, but it is a significant one. Congratulations, a joy. For those of you who are at home, I know you have your joys and sorrows as well. Bring them into the chat box or just send them the wavelengths out. Remember, you can turn in things for the member-to-member sharing each week electronically as well. This is how we weave the fabric of community. Thank you all for being part of this ritual. And now I ask you to turn to one another, greet one another in the dignity of your being and your presence with one another.
We'll open today's service with words
Food for the Haven, it's on the front.
from the book, The Parents' Doubting. They're written by William Martin. Do not ask your children to strive for extraordinary lives. Such striving may seem admirable, but it is the way of foolishness. Help them instead to find the wonder and the marvel in an ordinary life. Show them the joy of tasting tomatoes, apples, pears. Show them how to cry when pets and people die. Show them the infinite pleasure in the touch of a hand. And make the ordinary come alive for them. The extraordinary will take care of itself. And now please rise in body or in spirit for hymn number 346, our opening, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Sing a song with me that
We now light our chalice, symbolic of Unitarian Universalism, with this milestone of your life, speaking in unison the words of the Reverend Rita Capizzi. No matter how far you travel, no matter if you don't travel at all, you are on the cusp of a new life. People will have expectations of you. People you love will have expectations of you, both spoken and unspoken. This you already know, that you carry within you a spark of the universe creating itself. That spark connects you to all that is, to all that ever was, to all that will ever be. That spark is always there in you, always a force of creativity and possibility, especially when the expectations of others overwhelm or disappoint you. When you doubt yourself or feel afraid, when you fail, as we all do at times, remember that spark, always there, sustaining and revitalizing you, like the love you find in this religious community. Your community is here for you. Whenever in the future you light a chalice or see one lit, may you remember your spark. May it be so.
Good morning. My name's Kevin Lausch. I have the wonderful opportunity to work with the children and the youth. And today we are having a bridging ceremony. And that is a very special ceremony. And it marks the occasion of a transitioning of a member who's crossing from their youth into their young adulthood, from their high school experience to whatever lies beyond them. The bridger walks across a symbolic bridge or path, showing her transition from childhood into adulthood, but that bridger does not go alone across it. They launch off from her family and her friends, and they travel across this bridge with a friend, a member of the young adult community who has gone before her. And that's to symbolize that while she is on her journey herself, she goes with people, and she goes from her family into another group there that is still her religious community, so that she never walks truly alone. Today, our bridger is Olivia Tyner, and she'll be crossing the bridge. She's been active in our congregation since her earliest years. I know some of you probably even babysitted her at one time. You've seen many of her milestones of her life, and I know you're going to follow her future progress. She launches off from her family, her mother, Tara McDonald, her father, Jubal Tyner, her brother, Griffin, and also with friend Dana Smith, and crosses the bridge with her dear friend, Summer McCarthy. It should be noted that Tara McDonald was part of the very first bridging ceremony that was held at General Assembly. And she guided a young woman crossing or bridging over into adulthood that time. Tara's always been very moved by this ceremony and really wanted it to be special for her daughter. So, as we said, Olivia has been active in this congregation, attended Chalice Camp as a youth, attended many youth cons up at the mountain, took part in the Our Whole Lives sexuality education program, and many more. She is now graduated as of 2 days ago from Brevard High School, and she's very active there, including singing in the chorus, being active in the Unify Club, which is there to assist members, or students who have special needs. She was Junior National Young Leaders Conference member, was in every musical in Brevard High School during her time there, and is graduated Phi Beta Kappa. And it's been asked for us that it was okay for us to say this. It should be noted that Olivia did all of this while having the hidden disability of having myotonic muscular dystrophy. So she's really accomplished quite a lot. And we're so glad to have her here, her family and friends here. Now we'll start the ceremony and Reverend Bob with his statement.
Olivia, it's an honor. I remember meeting you early in 2020 in my arrival. Didn't know you from a little kid size, but at that point, I think we were picking apples at an apple picking event. I wore sneakers. So I wore sneakers today too, because you had made note of that. One of the things in life that I enjoy about being a minister in a congregation is getting to know people along their path in life. This ceremony is one of many that I end up being an officiant, some voice. I'm not the one who does anything except I recognize you. I recognize couples as they say their vows. I recognize a new child in our midst as we do a dedication, and the congregation makes all the commitment in the world to that child. I recognize the passing and the grief as members age and then pass over. So, Olivia, this ceremony today gets to focus on you in this stage. It's not the only stage you've gone through in life. There will be many more. You will have many other markers. But it is special and important that you are recognized in this community as having grown up. Not that we ever finish that process, but it's important for all of us to recognize the transitions in life. Thank you for asking to be part of this day. Thank you to your family for being here and for having supported you in all of the process. Thank you to Summer, who's leading you off into adulthood. And best wishes to you as you go off into your life. Kevin, would you come back and lead us through the next steps? Although I will say, there is a ramp on this side, because oftentimes we help those who are younger on their way. And there is just a big step off on this side. Because honestly, most of life is like that. Just watch the step.
We now ask Olivia and her family to come up to the platform. Olivia will be accompanied by Summer to walk across the bridge. As she does so, her mother Tara will sing a very special selection. It's On Children from the book The Prophet by Cahill Gibran. Sorry. That was me who told them to go over here.
Pardon me if my voice wavers. I have been singing this song to the children as a lullaby since before they were born. And I learned it at a UU Women's Conference in Oklahoma. Sweet Honey in the Rock has a version, but I could not find music for it anywhere. So I will sing you the version I have memorized for 25 years. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. They may come through you, but they are not of you. And though they are with you,
They belong not to you. You can give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. They have their own thoughts. You can house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the place of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You can strive to be like them, but you can't make them just like you. You can strive to be like them, but you can't make them just like you. Your children are not your children, and though they are with you, they belong not to you.
We now welcome you, Olivia, as an adult in the continuing spiritual journey as a Unitarian Universalist. We honor you, our bridging member. We express pride in that what you've already accomplished in life and what we know you will accomplish in the future. But most of all, we celebrate our union of souls in this particular congregation, the community which you enrich with your vibrant presence. Now we ask Olivia to come up for her Bridger statement, and then we'll tell a little bit of what she'll be doing after this.
I am grateful for the presence of the Unitarian Universalist Church in my life, and for all the memories and relationships that have come from our time together. I will think of you often as I continue my path forward in life, and I know you will lift me up in your thoughts as I continue my journey. This fall, I will be heading to Warren Wilson College, so I'm close enough to my family to come back and be here on Sundays and to see them through everything important and to watch my little brother continue to grow up, which was very important to me because I'm very, very close with my family. We all have a very good relationship. I am planning to minor in theater. I have no idea what I'm going to major in, and very little idea with what I'm going to do with my life, but I will do something with it. I am thankful to have grown up in a faith where whatever I believe is respected, and the chance that my parents gave me to figure that out for myself. Today, I will sign the book and become an official adult member of the church on my own. Well, not today, but soon, at some point. And I am going to move away from home for the first time this fall, which is going to be interesting. So send me good thoughts and hopes that that will all work out okay. And that my roommate likes the dorm warm.
Also, don't forget to send me a postcard.
All right, thank you.
And we send Olivia on with just 2 small gifts, one just a bouquet of flowers for you, but also a book. The book is called Maybe by Kobe Yamada, and it's just a wonderful book about transitioning to new things and to the spark within you that will guide you along the way. Griffin, you want to say anything? Nope. And Griffin brought up also a gift for her too, so thank you, Olivia. One more round of applause. And you can walk on down.
And Olivia, I have a blessing for you. It's the same blessing I give at new member recognitions, and it is a wish for you in your life. May your thoughts be wise. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love, and may the work of your hands be blessed all the days of your life. John and the ensemble are offering us a musical treat, a hymn that he asked, "Have you ever sung this, Reverend Bob?" I said, "Well, maybe once in my life." So it's a treat for all of us to get to hear this one.
The song we're about to sing for you this morning, I think was new to all of us until this week. And it's actually in our teal hymnal. It's titled, "Love Knocks and Waits for Us to Hear." And I'd like to read the first verse of it to you so you can get an idea of what it's about. And this is dedicated to Olivia. Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and invite. Love longs to quiet every fear and seeks to set things right. Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and invite. Love longs to quiet every fear and seeks to set things right. Love knocks and enters at the sound of welcome from within. Love sings and dances all around and feels new life begin. Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and invite. Love longs to quiet every fear and seeks to set things right.
Thank you. I always have some way of saying generosity is a piece of who we are. Our presence in this community and the way in which we give and are participating is a piece of who we are. It's a practice week after week to give. I was reminded at the start of the service, as Virginia said, remind people to sign up for the Haven meals. And yes, there is a sign up there. That's one way in which we give every month. So please fill it out. I remember one month, nobody had signed up to give bread. And at the end of the service, I ran over to Ingalls, grabbed bread, and brought it to Virginia to deliver it so that those at the Haven would not go hungry at the meal that we said we'd host. We also say that we'll give each month to a special cause. The Augustine Literacy Project is this month's giving. If you put it in the envelopes, what you're doing, this is helping school children with their literacy skills, helping folks along the way. I would think this is particularly important in the post-COVID period where kids were left so far behind when schools were closed or online. And in general, we just need your money. We need you to finish paying your pledge if you haven't already. We need you to put something in the plate to help us get through. This is a time in which we gratefully receive what you have to offer. The ushers will now bring you the baskets for our offering. Thank you, Keem. Thank you, Gypsy. What is given in love, we receive with great joy, and we say, thank you. In whatever ways you best center yourself, whatever ways you bring your body, your mind, your spirit into this moment, join me, please, in this time of prayer and meditation. Spirit of love and life, we who are gathered here today celebrate the milestones in our lives, recognizing those significant times. In particular, this morning, of course, Olivia Tyner, and also Pamela Zapata in the milestones of their lives. Let us remember as well the achievements of those who we have known. A joy for Griffin and his 3 medals. A joy for the young man with Down syndrome who proudly crossed the stage at graduation. Our hearts go out to those who are worried, who are ill, who are hurting. The hurts are at many different levels. Our hearts go out in particular to Jean's daughter, Nicole, in the hospital. Our hearts go out in particular to the friends and family of Ed Barrett, whose service was at the Lutheran Church yesterday. And also to Dave Roberts' family and Jim Sanders' family and the grief that they are feeling. We rejoice as well. We rejoice in the people who are among us, whose faces we see and who we remember and say, I am so glad you are here. Let us remember as we re-greet people in our lives to reach out with the love and the recognition, the light in their eyes and in ours. For Emery's Nana here today, for Midge being back among us after so much time away. These are particulars. In general, though, we know it is repeated again and again in the comings and goings of those in our lives whom we love and we miss and we greet with joy again. Spirit of love and life, this human community, may we be strengthened in the love and the joy and the spirit that keeps us going and knowing we are never alone. There is always someone who can be in our minds, in our prayers, and may we feel those prayers as well. We hold these thoughts and prayers in the silence for just a moment. In the names of all those known and unknown, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind, we say, Amen. Blessed be. Mary Oliver is a poet I have on my shelf. Different books from Beacon Press, the Unitarian Universalist Press, and many of her writings found online as well are something to listen, let percolate, and give meaning. Those of you who know me know that I do sit with poetry, and I think about the meanings and the messages, and I love sharing poetry in the men's group or in other places. Not what I've written, but what people like Mary Oliver have said that move me. This one's called Invitation. Oh, do you have time to linger for just a little while out of your busy and very important day? For the goldfinches that have gathered in a field of thistles, for a musical battle, to see who can sing the highest note, the lowest, or the most expressive of mirth, or the most tender. Their strong, blunt beaks drink the air as they strive melodiously, not for your sake and not for mine, and not for the sake of winning, but for the sheer delight and gratitude. Believe us, they say. It is a serious thing just to be alive on this fresh morning in the broken world. I beg of you, do not walk by without pausing to attend this rather ridiculous performance. It could mean something. It could mean everything. It could be what Rilke meant when he wrote, "You must change your life." What a delight. What a delight in the sounds of nature and the beauty all around us. The word delight is part of our Soul Matters packet this month, our home study for those of you who received the packet. It's a topic I'll hit on very briefly today. Something important in life. I wrote in the newsletter that the Shaker song, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple," was one that comes to mind every time I think of the word delight. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where you ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. The Shakers, somebody I visited as living museum pieces when I was a child. My parents took me to one of the last remaining Shaker villages which was mostly set up as a tourist area and selling off crafts. The Shakers originally started as an offshoot of the Quakers. They were known as the Shaking Quakers. Now, I went to a Quaker college, and we had, as a football team, the Hustling Quakers. We never had the Shaking Quakers. The Quakers, the Society of Friends, got their name Quakers because of their ecstatic reaction in service, in prayer, in connection with the divine. But they got a little buttoned up at some point. Or maybe not buttons, because buttons were too fancy for them. But the hooks and eyes, you're right, Jubal. But the Quakers are like, no, we're not doing that shaking stuff anymore. And so the Shakers were an offshoot. They said, well, we're going to keep up with that. We're going to do the bowing and the bending and the dancing and the shaking and the ecstatic bit and the delight in the divine. The delight in that spark. That whole long reading we had this morning for our chalice lighting. Who knew it takes so many words to light a chalice? We all have a spark. This is something that I think was coming through in what I was learning about the Shakers. Now, the Shakers pretty much have died out. There were some interesting things about the Shakers, though. They really lifted up women's leadership in a century in which women weren't supposed to do anything. Not speak, maybe churn butter. But they were, in the Shaker community, they were quite certain that the second coming of Jesus would be in the form of a woman. And so they wanted their women preachers. Shakers had some other very interesting ideas. As much as they enjoyed the ecstatic connection with the divine, they shunned other bodily ecstatic things, like they were very much into celibacy and abstinence. But they could have, if you were already married and you did want to give up your marriage, they could have, we would call them allies now. Shaker allies could have their communities too. They just wouldn't be in the Shaker commune. They would only get members then from conversion, or sometimes from adopting orphans, until that became illegal for religious groups to adopt orphans. And they're dying off. And one prophecy says when they get down to the last 5 Shakers, then that is when the second coming will arrive. Any second now. They were very millennial in their orientation, in that idea. What is delight? And as our packet asks, are delight and divinity intertwined? Is delight somehow a doorway into the holy? If so, what life experiences of yours convinced you of that? That's a really good question to dwell on this month. What instances of delight may have opened you to the holy? Whether it is a wiggle, squiggle, a dance, a quiver that occurs in that connection, or whether it is some other aha, catching your breath, the delight that we find, as Mary Oliver said, in the goldfinches and their song. Their song wasn't to win, it wasn't to be busy, it was a delight in the world to ask us to be there, to command us to be in this life. Busy, busy, busy lives that we have. And the time to stop and think of delight in our busy lives. I have said, and then I have gone and trampled over my own good words of preaching, I have said busy is a 4-letter word, and we should have none of it. There has to be a time set aside to be connected, to feel, to be there. The word delight as the packet says, derives from the Latin delectable, to charm, which also gives us the word delectable. I wonder why. Delight also shared etymological roots with delicious. It's getting around the edges of what we might find as delight. Foodies, delight. Bird watchers, delight. There are some things of saying, what was it, Thich Nhat Hanh, the dandelion has your smile? Dandelions, delight. Somehow finding it. I think the Arab mystic who said, the world wants you to go barefoot and for the wind to tease your long hair. Delight. We as human beings don't tend to have a lot of news stories of delight. We don't tend to have a whole lot of what's going on, but watch some of those dog videos on YouTube. What was the one that I caught this week about the adoption of 2 dogs that had gone to the shelter? They'd come in together and then they'd been separated. And when the dogs realized they were in adjacent kennels, the more energetic one jumped up 8 feet to the top wall and clambered over it to be delighted in being together again. And somebody came and adopted them both. I don't know if it's a delight to have a dog that can leap 8 feet and get over a wall. But to watch the dog do it was a delight. To see the wiggles of those dogs. We're all mammals. We can relate to that. We can relate to that connection, that love, that joy. And yet, we watch news stories about suffering. We learn about forest fires and how we're all breathing awful air. We have so many things that we dwell on. Adrienne Marie Brown wrote this. She said, if you put your attention on suffering, which is constant and everywhere, it's all you will see. Joy will come and laughter, but you will find it brief, possibly a distraction. Put your attention on joy, being connected and feeling whole, and you will find it everywhere. Your heart will still break. You will still know grief, but you will find it a reasonable cost for the random abundance of miracles and the soft, wild rhythms of love. You will find it a reasonable cost for random abundance of miracles and the soft, wild rhythms of love. As I asked at the beginning, are delight and divinity intertwined? I think perhaps they must be in my own life, because they are uplifting moments that take us out of our own ego and out of our own preoccupation with busy or our focus on the downsides in our lives. Maybe it is indeed a doorway into the holy. And maybe, just maybe, we can take this time this month to look more deeply into the things that give us delight and joy. Short message, good message. Whether you think it was good in its delivery, the message is true and real, and I hope it to be real for you. I invite you to rise as you're willing and able and sing and maybe shake a little bit to hymn number 16, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple." The words will be on the screen. As we extinguish this chalice and its helper candle, let us remember to carry the spark with us in all that we go about doing and spread that to those we see and know. May we leap with joy when being reunited with our friends. May we find delight in one another and in nature and in our very being. May it connect us to the holy. And then may we come back again into this place of love and connection. Blessings on all. Amen.